Hey everyone, hello and welcome. I'm so excited today. I'm excited for many reasons, but one of them actually. Let me move into the. Here I go. One of them is because I have Kristina Shands today, and she's speaking and sharing about changing her messaging. She's a copywriter and screenwriter. Hello, Kristina. How are
Hi.
you? And she's going to be sharing with us about using the voice, right? Whether it's speaking, it's writing, it's on video, but using our creative expression, our truth, to disrupt the status quo. And the second reason I'm excited is because I'm using Be Live TV. But really, I'm very excited to have you and your pet, who's behind you right now in the purple room.
Yeah, she hates me except when I'm either meditating or like on video. Then she's just like, "Wait, are you talking to me?" So yeah, there
Mama,
she
I
is.
can't be, you can't do this without me.
I know she's so funny.
So, Christina, tell us about so much to ask you.
Yeah,
Thank you for being here today
thank
because I'm
you.
so excited. We're doing the throat chakras our second week. People are hopping on, they're writing blog posts, they're really dealing with their fears of being seen on video. They're shooting videos on Instagram and in the group. And, dealing also with our childhood stuff because at some point or another, especially as women, but really maybe every human being is kind of shut down to not express their feelings, express their truths. So can you tell us a little bit about the journey that brought you to this place of being a copywriter and a screenwriter?
Yeah. Well, I've always been a writer, even if it was just in my journal or, like my teachers would ask for a 2-page report and I'd send in like a 20-page report. Like I was always just writing. And really the last few years, I've been a copywriter for other people. So I've had other voices in my head. Like I've always been able to, as an empath, really step into someone else's, um, vision and write for them. And so when I started to do it for myself, I realized, whoa, it's much harder to do it for yourself. And I don't know what my voice is. I don't know who I am. And then that sets off a whole range of emotions and a whole like, holy crap, I'm 45 years old. I don't know who I am. Who am I? What do I want to do when I grow up? Like, and that is like on the floor, uh, you know, life changing. And I've had a series of events that have really rocked my world. My mom passed away 2 years ago, which my whole life was I take care of her. And then she passed away, and then it was like, well, I don't know who I am. Oh, I'm a business owner. I'm a launch strategist. I'm a copywriter. I threw everything into my business, and then it was like, whoa, I don't know who I am. I know who my clients are, and so I started really diving into storytelling and my hero's journey, and then my hero's journey for my clients. And then when the election happened, I just was like, what am I doing?
Right.
This isn't it. I'm playing small. I'm not creating change. There are real problems in the world that I am called to share about. Like I'm a storyteller and I should be sharing these stories because I truly believe that stories connect souls. And the only way that there is compassion and change in this world is through true soul level connection, and that's through storytelling. And and so when the election happened, I was so fired up. I was like, "We're going to do this!" And then I heard my voice, and I was like, "Whoa, like that's not me." And then I shrunk down, and I kept writing, but I wasn't really sharing it with too many people because I've got family that love how the election went. I've got friends that hated how the election went. I wanted to please everyone. I didn't want to argue with people. I wanted everyone to see my point of view and agree with me. And then the last few weeks, there's just been things in the community that have popped up that I'm like, I can't not say something. And I think the post that you really resonated with, that a lot of people resonated with, was that last October, November, I wrote a post about how many times over the past 2 years I had thought about suicide, which was a lot. But there were 3 occasions where I actually put pills in my hands and just said, "This is it." Now these were 3-year expired aspirins, but still, it's like it was enough. And and I wrote this post. I never was going to publish it with anyone, or share it with anyone at all. It was too much. And then there was an event that happened in our community that no one wanted to talk about. And I just thought, this is it. I have to share it. I have to put this out there. And and I could not. And so I did. And I didn't share it with my aunt, my uncle, or my brother or my sister. Like they were off the Facebook list. I just couldn't do it. But everyone else, high school friends, like everyone saw it, and I just thought, wow, that was nice and scary, and I need to do more. What else can I share? And so,
How did you feel after that? I mean, because I've done certain things like that, and
yeah,
it's so scary. You know, what will they think? Professional standing.
yeah,
What was the outcome internally, emotionally for you, and also the mirroring back of people? Because I didn't see
yeah,
that post, but the one that I started to really pay attention to. I mean, I always did because we've known each other online, but it was about the spiritual
yeah.
teachers, right?
Oh,
That
yeah,
was the one, right?
yeah.
But with the suicide one, how did that affect you internally, and then how did it reflect, from the world back to you?
Yeah. Um, it was it was scary to put it out there, and then I posted it and then turned off my computer. Like I couldn't stay on, and then I'd like sneak back in and be like, okay, they're paying attention. Oh, okay, but I got a lot of private messages, and I actually had a friend reach out that I hadn't talked to in almost 2 years, about a year and a half, and she was like, I'm feeling the exact same way. And she's feeling it now, and I was feeling it in November. So I had some perspective to be able to kind of walk her through, sort of just keep going. It's okay. We've got this. But then I had some people that were just like, oh, I'll pray for you. And I wanted to say, don't fucking pray for me. Like this is like, if your only response to me being vulnerable is that you're going to pray for me, you see me as victim, and that you are the one that doesn't have anything to look at. And it pissed me off when people were like, oh, I'm sending you healing light. I was like, not what I asked for. I want, this was in the copy above. I said, I want you to, share your experience with, I don't remember exactly what my call to action was for them, but no one was like, yeah, I feel the same way. No one was as vulnerable, which was fine. But this whole idea that they wanted to fix me, give me advice, or to act like their life's so perfect that all they can do is pray for me. And I was like, no, no, no. I want you to see where this is showing up for you. So, there was a whole range of emotions. And then I don't remember exactly the one you're talking about, the one with the spiritual bypassing where all for one and only me, like, or whatever it was. That one was really hard because it was in response to a spiritual leader that I have followed for about 8 years now.
Wow.
And I trust her implicitly with I value her thoughts, but when she posted something around, we're going to transcend all of this and we're going to bound together, and only those of us that are enlightened will come together first, and then later we'll change the world. And I was like, no, I don't think those were the teachings of our ascended masters. I don't
No.
it hurts that so many people agreed too. And I was like, am I wrong? And again, it was like I read it. I read her post. I walked away and I was like, no, 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 no. I can't not say something. So I said something and got interesting feedback, and one of the things I really want people to kind of hear is like, I didn't know what I was talking about. Like I had no, like, I read in this book or this spiritual teacher said this to agree with me. Like I just knew what I felt and put it out there and was ready for people to say, oh, you're full of shit.
Right.
And and uh, so I prefaced it with like, I'm not a spiritual advisor and I haven't been doing this for very long. So I kind of lowered expectations at the first, which looking back was like, why did I feel the need to do that? But to me, it gave me permission to just show up without expectations from anyone else. And that was a huge conversation starter. And my big personal why is to spark real conversations that create real change in the world. Those are the conversations we need to be having. Not what did you have for lunch today? What are you struggling with? Like, I want to know, what is it that, like the deep, deep stuff. Because it's that sort of disruption that activates transformation. And without the disruption in our lives, in our business, We're not actually moving anything forward. We're just playing comfortable, and comfortable is not where growth happens. So I can talk as much as I can write. So you can pop in here, whatever.
I love it. Well, you know what I'm doing? Some of the things you're saying, I'm putting them in the notes.
Oh, good.
Disruption activates transformation. So I'm taking a little, I was a scribe in another life. So I sometimes, even when I do past life regressions, I'm taking notes. But getting back to you, I love that. And I think when we had our conversation, first of all, for me, like my journey in terms of writing, I was hired to write like 15 years ago. My first time out, I had gone back to school for a magazine writing class. The teacher's like, why aren't you writing? And she said, write. And I was like, oh, how do I do this? And I just picked a magazine that wasn't a top, big, huge one, but I picked one, studied the voice, wrote an article in that voice, and got hired. It was like $150. They gave it to me my first time out. So I was like, oh, there's something here. Because it was like, I'm in New York, and it was like, bam. It doesn't happen that. And so I was always writing about other things. And I was always afraid, because I've been doing past life regression since I'm 19. In my late 40s. I've been doing reading since I'm 16. All this other stuff I've been doing, and it's my life. It's like, my work is really who I am. But yet I was afraid. And it was usually reacting to the kind of stuff that you're talking about that set me off. Like, I don't care about my bullshit fears now. I got to say something, so I think it was an article I wrote years ago about, do you really want to serve, or do you just want to make millions? Something like that. Do you want to make millions and travel the world and be location free? Because that's the bill of goods we've been sold as, location free healer, entrepreneur. Hey, this is your dream. Like, they'd exchange one from, so that initiated my get out there and just. And the second thing, to correlate to what you're saying, is that last year, and I think I told you about this, I really didn't want to do video. I had gotten away with it. I had a successful business without, just writing, memes, pictures. I didn't have to get in front of the camera and look at people and talk. And then the videos of the 2 African-American men being shot in the same week, like June, I think it was. And that devastated me for 3 days. And let me tell you, I hear crazy things in my sessions. I've heard like real life present, like murder, incest, torture, all these things. I've heard past life stuff. Like, I hear amazing, crazy, intense stories of present and past. But to see that, and to see it on screen, it hit me. And I knew in my heart that we had not achieved like the mass souls of whatever we needed to tip the planet into the light, right? Like, I was like, oh my God, we're moving into battle. And, because we're taught that we create reality. I sat there crying for 3 days going, I did not create this shit. My vote was not in for this. I was like, where did this come from? And all of my clients would get on the phone and say, Vanessa, I didn't sign up for this bullshit. Vanessa, I'm not, what's going on? It's like we slid into an alternate reality. I think a lot of us were fed the idea over, decades now. We're all going to evolve together. We're going to rise into the fifth dimension. We're going to deal with our challenges that usually have to do with eating kale and letting go of the past. These things that, of course, are hard. Like, letting go of any parental abuse or dysfunction is not easy. But we thought it was that. And then suddenly that day in June, I was like, boom, boom. Oh no, girlfriend. This is not only our personal bullshit, our societal. This is like world. And what's going on in Turkey with the President Erdogan. There's so much going on around the world. That pushed me. So for anybody watching, you've got 2 people here today on this interview who actually were pushed out of their safety zone because of the injustice that they saw in the world, and because they wanted to say something. They had to say something. So you felt you had to say something.
I felt I absolutely had to say something. And looking back over all of the work that I had done here and there with spiritual, leaders and guides, and, all the work that I've done, like, I'd gone through sessions and just taken notes. Oh, I'm incarnated to make, humans perfect. And I was like, well, I don't know what that means. And it means something very different than what I imagine perfection being. And all, like, my gene keys and human design. And when I kind of looked and put all of it together, I was like, oh, fuck, it's been right in front of me this whole time. I haven't been willing to see it. That that all of my gifts are pointing to this place, which is tell the stories, get out there, be disruptive, start conversations, hold space for people to have these conversations, and also because I'm an empath who can feel and understand. Like I live in a really rural town, and I actually said this last night on one of your posts. Where like I can easily step into judgment of, oh well, I read Eckhart Tolle. I don't even know that's how you say his name, but so I must be much more evolved than you, and I'm better than you because you're just a peon. And I'm evolved, and I'm and I was like, I feel like that's what we do in our society, in this spiritual community, is like we're so much better because we're so much more evolved. And then it becomes, oh well, we need to stick together, and then they can figure it out themselves, or if they signed up, people in Syria signed up for this when they came here, they'll figure it out. That's their journey, and I want to be like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, maybe I just don't understand. I don't have the answers, but I can't not ask for questions.
Right.
Especially when I've got a community that I thought supported my own beliefs or and so now it's just everything's shaken. Everything's been like, don't trust that leader to, and why is this spiritual leader being really quiet? I haven't heard from this person about what's going on. Well, this person's just selling like crazy, doesn't even pay attention to what's going on in the world. It's like, whoa, we're in a different place. Why aren't people speaking up? We need those voices. And what I see is that there's a whole new generation of voices and a whole new group of women and women of color and people of color who are really going to change the narrative for the world. And if anything that, if we can be sort of hopeful of anything, is that so many women have stepped into leadership and found their voice. And my role is, how can I help them do that on a bigger scale? How can I do it and then show them how and support them in doing it? So everything with me shifted. But all roads have led to this point. All roads. But it's not, to commit to being seen, to commit to being disruptive in a way that is questioning, that is to trigger people. And I don't want to say trigger in a bad way, but like, I want to evoke a reaction in people. And if I'm not, then I'm not doing a really good job with my words. And a quick story about how that it really is probably about a month ago. A client one of my friends sent me a website of one of her clients, and I went to it, and it was a beautiful website, and I was looking at the copy, and the copy was gorgeous. And then at one point I was like, wait, did I write this copy? I mean, it was so my voice. So I could have written it. And then right then and there I was like, oh my God, I'm writing like everyone else. What I'm creating for my clients is what everyone else could create. There's nothing that I'm providing that's special. And that's when I was like, I'm playing so small. And I'm letting my clients play so small. And because I don't want to be uncomfortable, I don't want my clients to be uncomfortable. So I'm not going to push them into being their truest self online. And so as I'm rewriting my website, I've rewritten the homepage like 6 times, and it's not deep enough. It's not hitting enough. It's not like, it doesn't punch you in the face, and I want it to. And so I want that for my clients. I want that for everyone around me. I want everyone to be encouraged to just put it out there and be okay with what the reaction is going to be, because it's not your responsibility to worry about how other people react.
I agree with you. So we're talking about that from the point of view of a writer. When we're talking from the point of view of a business, though, right, where we can't live on 1,000 a month or 2,000. And I'm not saying, I'm just saying, we need to bring in 5, 6, 10, 8. I mean, has it affected you since you've been more outspoken?
I brought in more people who are at a level that are ready to speak out. So what I was attracting before were people that were really wanting comfort and wanting a best friend to walk them through and to get them to the next baby step. And who is stepping forward now are people that are like, I'm done with the baby stepping, let's leap. And I'm just like, come on, bring it. It's like, let's do this. Because there's something that happens when you leap and there's not a net yet. And you're just like, oh, this is living. This is when the body's alive. And you're just like, okay, we can do this. And also just trusting that if you know you're on the right path, you'll be served. And of course, I still want to go back to, I mean, I just signed on a retainer client so that I could write, so I can spend more time doing my screenwriting. And she's not pushing boundaries. You know, she's out there, but she's not edgy. And I really had to think, do I want to sign her on as a client? Because she's not disruptive. But in my mind, it is like, I can push her to her edge, and I can create space for me to keep doing what I'm doing without having to really take on, like, do a launch or take on more clients, and I can write more.
Beautiful.
So, yeah, business is business, and you choose. And as long as you're choosing with integrity and out of desire and not fear, then you can make a choice that's not, I mean, we can't run full speed ahead forever.
I agree. I'm so happy. And I mean, I imagine that, you know, when you said what you said and you stepped up, that you actually attracted people who were more in alignment with you. Yeah. Because I could tell you it's so funny from my history note, I've been in New York this whole time, and now I'm in Pennsylvania, but it's new, and I'm still in New York, let's say. Speaking there, being present there, you know, and I'm that secret person that everybody goes to when the shit hits the fan. Yeah. But it's so interesting because when you go to a networking event, they'll run to the shiny thing. Yeah. They'll run to the 22-year-old, has all the family money and just has a fabulous website, is about this thin, you know, and nothing wrong with that. Like, that's beautiful for your path. Yeah. But it's so interesting to see, you know, spiritual teachers, we need to knock them off their pedestal. Yep. Because the guru is you, is me. And that's what I love about the work that I do, is that it's really, it's so funny. One of them said, oh, it's almost like you're barely doing anything. Somebody said, I was like, oh no, girl. I was like, but what it is that you take your ego so out of it, and you hold this space for people to step up and help each other, for community, for leadership, for their own voice, that you start to go back and back and back, and you become more the structure and not the meat of the thing. You know, you don't become the whole thing. It's not it ain't my show. So I love that. And so I'm so happy that you got more people.
That's a great business model too, because we're always told, be out there, be in your face, do, you know, like, and when you can actually just be, and then give people permission to be themselves in a more powerful way, then that's what's actually going to change the world. And I love that you can model it for your community. And one of the things I just kind of discovered about messaging, I actually wrote this the other day, was that your brand messaging should actually scare you. It should be so bold that you have to step into the person that's going to make it real, that's going to make it come to life. And so you should feel like a fraud until you are not a fraud, until you are fully embodied into your message. So when I say I'm a disruptor, I'm not a disruptor yet. But the more I claim it and the more I step into that, the more I will be. And then pretty soon disruption will be, oh, that's not even me anymore. That's just who I am. What's my next evolution for my business? So if your message is really, you know, like, you know, and I'm, you know, if you look at my archetype, I'm a girl next door, you know, I'm not a warrior. I'm kind of like, I want to be your best friend, but I also want you to be your most powerful self, because we need you. Like, we need voices right now. We need people to stop this pretending that everything's okay, because it's not. And it's not okay. So what's going on is not okay.
Absolutely. And, you know, I'm going to digress a little bit off about messaging, but really about like the spiritual impetus for us being truth speakers, right? Yeah. Is that what people aren't realizing? You know, we were sitting in history class 10 years ago, 15, 30 years ago. We were all wondering, well, how did that happen? How did that happen in Poland? How did that happen in Europe, that so many people were gassed and killed? Oh, wait. Because some people just said, we're going to save ourselves and let them figure it out. You know what I mean? You know, Atlantis, whether we believe in Atlantis or not, you know, somebody reached out, what do you know about Atlantis? I'm like, well, I had lifetimes there, by the way, and I remember from past life, and it was not cute. I was like, technology was advanced. There was an elite situation. There were a lot of struggling people. And when the shit came down, it was not pretty.
Yeah.
And I've always felt, I mean, not only from that regression, from my own studies, like a lot of us have come back to stop that.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently, too, a lot of us have come back to maybe play the roles we played before. So maybe that spiritual teacher that you've had has done this shit before in another time and space. And so that's one of the things, you know, that makes me brave. I would say that I do have natural bravery, and it was because based on childhood family dysfunction. And I think I was born that way too. When I saw something that was not good or positive, I didn't hide under the bed. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I literally put my hand on my hips and said, "You're not going to do that." I was like 5, you know, and I'm getting whacked. And I was like, "I don't care. You can hit me." I'm, you know, maybe I'm part warrior, but I think that so I always had that bravery, and that I'm not going to be held down from lifetimes. But I can tell you that I still hid in my business, right? Having the priestess archetype, which is holding space for everyone else to step in. It can be a very comfortable role where you're loving, you're kind, you hold the space, you push yourself in the depths that you'll go to, right? And the space you can hold. Ooh, butterfly just got knocked over. She got knocked over. Oh, where is she? Yes. So you can push yourself in the space that you're holding. But in terms of visibility, you know, anybody with the priestess archetype, it's going to be like, and people, because I have an entertainment background where I've sung, performed, and acted, people are like, well, you know, it's easy for him. Like, no, actually, because when I was singing and performing, it was other people's words, or it was about love or something, you know, everyday life. When you're talking about spiritual stuff, it is everyday life and the deeper meanings for it. It's the juice, it's the core, it's what people don't want to face, what people don't want to deal. And you'll see even people gravitating to leaders who make it very pretty. You know, not that my webpage isn't pretty, but make everything super, super pretty. We're all going to run under the moonlight now. But, you know, when people talk about depth, I don't see it in a lot of the events that I go to. I don't see that. And that's where I live. So for me, and that's why I'm like, when I hear your story, I'm like also clicking to that, is that the way that I was able to get braver in my work was to really, really root into, I'm here to serve. And that's something that a lot of new healers and a lot of intuitives and a lot of new empaths and a lot of new wellness coaches, they say it because it's cute now and cool. But service is service. It's like getting up when you don't want to. It's drying your eyes when you just wept over the passing of somebody that you love, and getting on a freaking call and doing it, you know? It's saying the things that you've been saying that maybe that's scaring the shit out of you. You know what I mean? For me, it was creating a group like this. I mean, this group doesn't have that much structure. I send out a module every week, but I'm behind a couple of weeks. But yet I've done interviews. Like, that's scary to really let myself free flow. And trust that my people are not going to be like, and they haven't been, because we're doing a lot. People are doing a lot. So yes, it has to scare you. It has to scare you. That's the only way to grow. And I don't know about you, but every time I step into that next level of me, right? It's like, wow, this is who I am. Not in an ego point of view, but just this expansion. And suddenly I walk more solidly on the earth. Does that happen?
And everything else changes. It's like now that I'm more disruptive and I want to be seen more, it's like, oh, well, I need to eat better, and maybe I should go to the gym or spend more time outside, and I need to get my rituals dialed in, and I need to spend more time in meditation, and I need a different spiritual coach, or I need a different business coach. It's like, oh, everything changed. And it's just like, okay, I only want to change this part of my life. Never works like that. And I have to say, I'm not brave. What I am is stubborn. And so I put it out there because I have to. And it gets easier, I hope. I don't know. What doesn't get easier is not putting it out there.
Yes.
And so action is the only way through being this vulnerable thing. And let me just say this just for my own sanity. If you feel the need to put vulnerable post ahead on your Facebook post, then it's not a vulnerable post. Unless you're talking about triggering and you want to warn people, when I say vulnerable post ahead, I see marketing scheme, you've planned this, and this is not vulnerable, you want something. And that just it may not be true for everyone, but it's turned into such a marketing tool. Just post vulnerably. And I'm like, to do what? Yes, I want your whole business to be about being vulnerable, but not out of integrity. And so, I mean, there are things that I don't know that there's anything that I won't share. But I've only shared a small piece. I've got so much more. And, my brain is always like, well, how can this be in service to my audience? Because at some point it just becomes me whining about stuff or me acting like I'm preaching. And that's where I very much go into my big shadow is judgment. And so I very much go into preacher mode. And so I have to be very aware that when I share, it is not out of, it is because I'm deeply feeling called to share. Otherwise, it's marketing, and that's okay because we need marketing. But when I write for myself. And when I write something that needs to be shared, it gets shared. And sometimes that's used in marketing, sometimes it's not. But please don't use vulnerability as like a strategy. It should just be part of who you are. And not necessarily vulnerability, because I don't know that, but this showing of your true self is what your business should be about. Because, I mean, that's, and I told you when we first started, all of this is going to be stuff I need to hear myself. So I'm like, what do I really need to tell myself right now that I know that if I tell myself this, that you guys would benefit from? And, part of it is just showing up exactly as you are. Like for this call, I put on makeup, I've brushed my hair, put on a shirt that doesn't have stains on it, put on lipstick. And as I was putting on lipstick, I just kept hearing, just show up. Don't worry about this. Just show up. And I was like, no. I've got to put a makeup on. And it doesn't matter. Just show up. Because I've never looked at a video where someone was really being authentic and said, I can't listen to her. She doesn't have on lip gloss. Or look at those eyebrows. Like, no one ever says that.
Hey, Kristen, when you watch this, I have one of our people. It's like, I can't do it. My eyebrows. Oh, she's so cute. And then they screwed up her eyebrows the other day. She said, and she came on anyway. And she's like, she was so cute. So
of course they did. Of course they screwed up your eyebrows. What else would they do?
Yeah, I love that you say that. And I am somebody who actually kind of wears makeup every day, actually.
I love makeup. I just don't.
Right.
I don't make the time for it.
Right, but that's what I mean. It's like it's a part of who I am, right?
Yeah.
And when I wave my hair, it's like I put it up at night, so in the morning it has waves. But that's just something I've been doing for decades. Yeah. Because I'm somebody who wants to look cute to myself without a lot of effort.
Yeah.
So makeup has to be like, like that. Okay, done.
Yeah.
If it's too much, I can't. So, but I love what you said, that it shouldn't be a marketing, vulnerability should not be a marketing thing. It should be who you are. Mm-hmm. And, when I started sharing more and more of myself, like I find that I don't even censor myself a lot of times. I mean, trust me, I could talk about way more. There are some things that I don't share about my childhood right now because my siblings are on Facebook. There's a lot of followers that I have who are in Miami. My family's in Miami who are connected to my siblings. I don't want to hurt anybody. I don't want to bring anything out that's going, but I allude to it. I believe that a lot of psychic people had to have, like, we all have antennas, but a lot of psychic people had really good antennas because we needed them to survive. So like my antennas were like, shoom! Okay, what do I do? Yeah. It was like that, and even as a child, I heard. So I can admit, on this call right now that there's way more that we could talk about. But I realize that when I'm vulnerable and I talk about things and share things, that it feels so good. It's a relief. Yeah. And it just keeps like flowing through me. It just flows. And then I'm like, what the hell? And even I've shared with people here that back in the day, I used to be very critical of myself with grammar or this or that because, we're doing it on a phone, right? And it's like typing on a phone. Sometimes I'm walking because I'm in New York. I used to walk and type, or on the treadmill typing or rolling out of bed without contacts. And I used to be like, oh my God, they're going to think I can't write, and now I'm like, and I go in and I fix it. I'm like, ooh, that was 2 hours ago. Let me fix it.
Yeah.
And if they think I can't write, I don't know what to tell you. I'm not losing sleep over it. What would you say? I would say that a lot of my people have started a business or are wanting to start a creative project or a business. We have one who's a writer who wants to write novels, who has a big following with her blog. Mostly everybody's a healer, a coach, a speaker, hypnotherapist, intuitive. What would you say to them? Because right now, some of them are they're getting more vulnerable. What would you say to them as they begin to share with the world?
Yeah. Share what feels edgy, but not over the edge. So start small. If you're one of those all or nothing people, don't feel like your first post has to be about something that's massive, because that could, that experience could, not, you in the same part of that is don't have expectations. And when you share, so, if you expect to put something out there and expect that a whole bunch of people are going to respond in a particular way, then first is that if you share too much, there is a vulnerability hangover. There is this sort of a holy crap, what have I done? It takes a lot of energy to be seen. Because for me, I have to get my ego out of the way. So I spend most of my energy just telling my ego to shut up. It doesn't matter. And I had typos in some of mine, and I went back a few hours and fixed them, and some of them I didn't fix. And like my ego's like, oh, who do you think you are? And blah, 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 blah. And it's just like, okay, like all my energy goes to just shutting that voice up so that I can hear my soul. And so put out there what you're slightly uncomfortable putting out there, and then let go of expectations. And if you have to, segment who you're sharing it to, because that's what I do. If there's any political post, I don't include my family. I don't include a few high school friends. I just don't want to hear it. And, part of me is like, oh, I feel so guilty because then I'm not being true. But some of it's like, no, this is like, I just need to do what I need to do right now as I'm doing it. And so I just share, but make sure that when you're sharing, I always go through, my throat's closing up, so there's something I need to say. I don't know what it is yet. I know that, what was I going to say? No, hold on, I need to listen. I have a thing that runs in my head that's to say what needs to be said. That's part of my why. Say what needs to be said. So if you are not willing to open yourself up to be seen, then what are you doing? You're not in the right work. If you're a writer and you're not willing to open yourself up to be seen as a writer, then you don't need to be writing, unless you're just doing it for joy. But if you're a healer and you're not opening yourself up to be judged or to be seen or to be whatever, then it's either not your purpose and you need to move on, or it is your purpose and you haven't embraced it fully and you need to get over yourself and do it. Like, I think that's what's coming through. And that sounds so not nice, and I'm such a nice girl. So for me, it's also like, for me to say to someone, what are you doing? This isn't what you're supposed to do. You're kidding yourself. And if they push back and say no, and so it's it's your chance to say, no, this is it. Or, oh, you're right. I'm trying to follow everyone else. Or maybe you haven't, or maybe the rest of your path hasn't been revealed yet. Because that's part of what happened to me, is that my path was revealed little by little. And it's still being revealed. I try pushing it, like, oh, no, I'm here to change the world. I don't know what that's supposed to look like. Well, the universe shows me what it needs to show me and what I'm ready to accept it. So.
I love that. Can you repeat that again? No, maybe you can, but
I don't know.
You were saying something about, oh, wow. So Linda's saying, thank you so much. All of this hits home for me as someone starting to open up through blogging for the first time. Truth. Yes, yes, yes. B says, love it. And so when you said those things, Kristina, I want to cry.
Yeah.
I feel,
let's cry. I love crying.
I just, you know, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Because that's why my guides speak to me.
Yeah.
You know, because I really came to the work full time, not because I was practicing a hobby, and that's why I created this program. I didn't want other people to have the spiritual duress that I felt like I was under when I created my business.
Yeah.
I mean, we can't control the people's journey, but I was like, well, I want to be that person that they can find in the wilderness that's going to understand them. Because after having a business for part-time for a very long time, you know, car crash, a layoff of this, I mean, no money, no love for my part. It was just like completely, and then I was like, what do I do? Share what you know.
Yeah.
Do it or don't do it. And I was
Yeah.
sitting there with my guides like, but wait, I'm a good person.
Yeah.
I've been helping people all my life. And then there were other people like, you know, you must be being punished, right? Because you're bad or you didn't do. I'm like, no, I think I'm being. But now when I look back on it, so to share with everybody who's on or who will watch this, now when I look back on it, I don't know, to be honest with you, and I'm going to write about this, that I would have thrown myself out there in such a big way had I not had everything taken away from me. You know what I mean? It was like, okay, you don't have this, you don't have, what you going to do now? Share what you got.
Yeah.
And same thing, like you just spoke the voice of my guides as well, and that's why it's emotional.
Yeah.
So for anybody who's watching, you know, there comes a point for us when we're a healer and intuitive truth speaker where it's pretty much like, I hate to say it because it sounds like mean. It's almost like we're backed up against a wall.
Yeah.
Our soul and our bullshit, you know. Yeah. It's like, and then it's like all we can do is go through it, you know.
Yeah. I mean, that's what, to me, that's our job. I keep coming back to, you know, literally when I don't show up as to who I'm supposed to be and do this work I'm supposed to do, I'm telling God, oh, you've got it wrong. I know better. There's no way that I'm supposed to be the one doing that. And then that makes no sense because, like, who am I to tell God that he's wrong? And then I think, oh, well, I don't have all the pieces. Well, I have all the pieces that I need to take a step right now. And it's so human of us to want everything to be perfect or to have it all figured out or to make it look a certain way so people can accept it. And, you know, I've always been that person that's wanted to just be accepted by everyone. So for me to even say, I don't give a fuck what you say or what you think, like, who am I? Like, I don't know who I am anymore, but I know that it feels a lot better to be this person than it was to be the other person. And all I can do is do this, be of service out of complete and sheer love, even if it doesn't sound like it's, you know, it's not my job to make you comfortable. My role is to help you and everyone out there lead their purpose life. And for me, I'm calling in the ones that want to change the world in a big way. Like, I want women who are, you know, talking about changing paradigm structures. Like, the patriarchy is dying. There's not going to, like, this is it. We're shifting. And my role is to be on the edge of helping it shift. I'm not going to be president. I'm not going to be a senator, but I can be the ones telling their stories. I can be the ones connecting people to share stories. I can be the one pushing people into their place, into their role when they don't see it for themselves. And if I don't do that now, what's going to happen to the next generation if I don't do what I'm supposed to do? Like, am I so, you know, like, I was sitting here for a reason. If I don't do it, what happens next? And then what if a lot of people don't do it? What if none of us do the work we're supposed to do because we're too scared? Or we think, oh, well, you know, we're being punished. Or what happens the next time we come back? Or what happens to my nieces and our kids? I'm like, what happens? We can't not do this work. Just can't not do it. And it doesn't mean it's easy. That doesn't mean that it's not hard. and it doesn't mean it's not scary. And there are so many people out there doing the work that can inspire us. I mean, there's a lot of women in our community are doing amazing work. There's, Brene Brown, and there's Elizabeth Gilbert, and there's Martha Beck. Some of these women that I just admire greatly, and I'm not them. So I find my own path, but I get inspiration from all sorts of people. And that's what we're here to do. Let's do it. But it's not about comfort.
Our work matters. It matters. It's like some of us say, well, I'm this little one person, it matters. It matters. It matters. And I sit there sometimes because, I'm teaching 2 programs now, and sometimes it's a day where it's, 3 back-to-back past life regressions.
Yeah.
Sexual trauma, hypnosis, turn around, go into a reading, take a break, eat dinner, jump onto a class, hold space for class. Like, so much is always happening. It's almost like I can't sit. I almost don't, like, I'm in the moment and I'm living it. But I had a moment yesterday where I got to, like, really feel, and I cried because I was like, I've seen babies be born. I've seen marriages come together, people come apart in good ways. I've seen people step up in there. It's like, we think we're just this one person, right? And as one person, we could only hold but oh so much space. I mean, none of us on this in this class or in this group right now are famous, right? Quote unquote. Yet every ripple, I mean, you throw a little pebble into a pond and it ripples out. So our work matters. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
For any of you who didn't watch all of it, please watch all of this. I don't know if anybody has any questions. If anybody has any questions, Linda B, I don't know who else is on. If you have any questions for Kristina. And in the meantime, while I wait, Kristina, how do people get in touch with you?
You can go find me on Facebook. I friend everyone, unless you're some guy that I don't have any connections with. You can find me on Facebook. I'm working on my new website, which is KristinaShands.com. So it's KristinaShands.com. You can watch my evolution because it's not done. And you can watch me change my homepage about 1,000 times. And that's it. I'm redoing my whole business. So I don't, if you need help with copy, I'm here, but I'm pretty much just someone that you can reach out to about anything. And I'm there. I'm always there. And not the best business model yet, but I will make it work. And just find me on Facebook and read my stuff and give feedback if you feel called to. And when you post something vulnerable, I want to read it. I want to celebrate every single time you do something that takes you to your edge. And then I want to be the friend that's going, let's do this. Let's jump. Like, I'm the crazy one that's going, there's no need for an airplane. Let's jump. Like, that's who I am. So if you're about to hit publish on a post and you're like, I can't do this, find me.
Linda says, not at this time. Thank you so much. Love to you both in capitals. Truly inspired. I'm so glad, Linda. Linda's in Hawaii. And that's somebody from Switzerland and Hawaii. So, it's great. I'm going to write down, I'm typing this. Hold on. I'm just put your website on.
Perfect.
You can't see it, but it's there. I see it.
Yeah.
Kristina, B, thank you so much. We'll have to watch the replay again. It was It was interrupting the connection several times.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Linda, for being on here. And there are like 14 other people who will see it at some point later. Kristina, thank you. I knew this was going to be like emotional, intense, amazing.
Yeah.
And I have one thing actually that I want to close with. I know it's like almost 12 to 1, but they share from their heart. How do you tie, briefly even, how do you tie marketing into that, right? Because you share because you have. Yeah. But how?
Well, I mean, for me, my business is all around my being able to convey emotions. So for me, it works perfectly. If your business can an attorney do the same thing? No. But then I also think that's not, I'm not called to help them. I don't have any idea how they can do it. For me, it's healers, it's writers, it's creatives, it's artists. And our job is is the art of disruption. Our job is to make people think and to put it out there and let people kind of deal with who we are as their own lessons. So if you're sharing, if your soul's telling you to share it, it's for a reason. So I don't know. I'm not into that. That's something I will learn as I go. So who knows?
I love it. I love it so much. Well, I mean, I shared for like 3 years before I really went online to sell anything.
Yeah.
I was doing my work part-time at the time. And I found that the more I share, the more just people reach out to me and say, I need to work with you. I need to work with you. I've been hearing you.
They don't even know why they need to work with you. They're just like, I don't know what it is, but I need you in my life. I just said that yesterday with someone. I was just like, I don't really know you, but I need you. What do you do?
Like, I love this. Thank you so much for being so open-hearted, so just brave. Okay, brave heart, brave soul, and for inspiring our bravery today. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. What an honor. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And just reach out to Kristina and friend her on Facebook. She's really awesome, and I love what she posts. That's how I found her. Thank you, love. Bye-bye.
Bye.